record on this one too. Okay, so thank you all for showing up. I would like to acknowledge that we are on native land of the Haamanga tribe of the Tongva people, of the Tongva Nation. And if we could take a moment of silence, please. Thank you. Okay, I would like to call this meeting to order at 2:11 p.m. on December the 4th, 2020. And if I can please get a first.
So you don't, when you call the meeting to order, you just call the meeting to order. Just go down the line on your agenda. Just follow your agenda.
Okay, so I'll do a roll call then. So first, I'm here. Sofia Savedo.
Here, sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to say I'm on the live stream. It's not, I can't see the video. Just let you know.
Ooh.
Oh, never mind. You're right.
I see it now too.
I guess it didn't load on my end. Sorry about that.
Yeah. Sorry, Carrie.
Okay.
We good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Anna Yang.
Here.
Sean Siu.
Here.
Alexandra Ling.
Here.
Victor Corona.
Here.
Chewan Beck.
Here.
Eugene Song.
Here.
And Carrie Fusa.
Here.
Okay, great. Thank you. So I would like to make a motion to adopt the agenda of December the 6th, 2020. If there are any changes you believe should be made. If not, if I can please get a first motion.
First.
Second.
Okay, thank you. First was by, sorry?
Sophia.
Sophia, okay. Sophia, and sorry, who was second?
Alexandra.
Alexandra, thank you. All right, so if we can do an action roll call and we'll go down the line. Sofia Savedo.
Yes.
Anna Yang.
Here.
Okay, I'm sorry. If you could just say aye or no
aye.
or vote abstain. Thank you. Sean Siu.
Aye.
Alexander Ling.
Aye.
Victor Corona.
Hey, Victor, are you there? You might be muted.
We'll go on. I'll be back. Chewan Beck.
Aye.
Eugene Song.
Aye.
Victor, are you there?
You cast that as a no vote.
Okay. Okay, motion passes with one no vote. Thank you.
When I say
And
no,
then-
I'm sorry, like,
Like abstain?
yeah, like you didn't cast a vote.
Right, okay.
Not a-
Let's see. And then I can note that on the minutes, correct? As well, of why it was. Okay, great. So we don't have, unless there's anything you all would like to report from our last meeting that we had, last official meeting we had. I know for me, it's just been, I'd like to report that been pretty busy with my class schedule and been working with collecting information that is presented from some of my, I guess, colleagues through shared governance in the campus. They're on multiple committees, so I wouldn't be able to point them out exactly, but there has been some, invitation for students to be able to provide feedback on ideas for a future food vendor that we're trying to get in the campus. Since at the moment we don't have a vendor, and just being able to have meetings. I had one before we started this meeting, and I'll be speaking a bit more about that through our agenda in one of the discussion items. That is it for me. Carrie, do you have any reports?
Not much. I think, we're coming toward the point where we're almost on break. I think if we could resolve in the next couple of days or weeks when we're going to meet, we can meet during winter. And then also if we could select a date, now is a good time to select a date once you have your class schedule, because everyone's registered, for the fall. I can do 2 o'clock on Fridays, but it needs to be, I have a set schedule. I have another meeting that goes from 1 to 3. So and that's every other week. So we could do every other week on 2 o'clock on Fridays, but probably that would be my only request, is that we work on scheduling a meeting. I know you had the Zoom out or the Doodle. So
Right.
as we get closer to this stressful time of finals, wish you all the best of luck. Remember, breathe. And if you do not know, if you are not feeling like you are not going to do well, you can still, explore the possibility of getting an excused withdrawal. So those are still an option for you if you feel like, looking at everything, you're not going to do well. We are no longer automatically, in the spring, we were automatically handing out excused withdrawals, but we're not doing it again. You can get an excused withdrawal. Just sign up in counseling to go speak with your counselor and do that paperwork. I also want to remind you, think about this. It's a very hard strategic decision for those of you that are still going to be around for another year. If you think if you do really well, if you're doing really well, like your GPA is really good and this semester it tanked, and you think you're going to get a C, I just want to remind you that you cannot repeat a course that is a C or better. So either you need to be getting a D or an F and you can repeat that course, or you need to be looking to do an excused withdrawal if you're afraid of hurting your GPA. And that's a strategic thing for you to think about with a counselor, to look at your GPA. Okay. So just kind of think about that. All I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Carrie. Appreciate that. Yeah, and also the excuse withdrawal, it doesn't have a limit as to when you can apply for it. At the moment, there's no limit. So
yeah, but don't wait.
Yeah, don't wait. So yeah, thank you again, Carrie. So moving on, we don't have any action items at the moment. Now discussion items. So we will be moving on to discussion about the facilities master plan, sustainability section, and just recommended that the sustainability committee discusses the sustainability section of the facilities master plan. Do any of y'all have any new ideas? This is a continued discussion from our last meeting, since we had to table this as well. So it's back on the agenda, and luckily, the sustainability committee is still working we will be meeting on January the, January the 12th and the 19th, which are Tuesdays. And there I am still, with this feedback, then I aim for us to have a plan of action once we collect all of this information, once we discuss this a bit further, and being able to include you all in the discussion at the sustainability section, subcommittee, sorry. And if there's anything that, stood out for those of you who hadn't reviewed those items before, if it's something, that stood out for you, please let us know, and I will be taking notes. Feel free to unmute yourself.
So I was looking over the checklist, the STARS credit checklist, and I noticed on page 6, at the top of page 6 on the checklist, it says, hold on, let me just get the right wording for it. It says collaborate with other colleges and institutions or universities to support and help build the campus sustainability committee. And then on the time frame, it says current membership status and collaborations that were active during the previous 3 years. I was just wondering, do you know who those schools and universities are? And do you know like what exactly we've done to collaborate with them?
Yeah, there's no one that I know of at the moment actually working in a partnership addressing sustainability. I just know that there is partnerships, like the closest partnership is Caltech, but there it's more of a, creating a partnership that will then, persuade students to consider Caltech as their next step. But there isn't anything specifically with sustainability. But with you bringing that up, if there's any colleges or if there's anything that of colleges addressing sustainability, that's something that we can all coordinate and reach out to these schools, take that initiative to be able to, fulfill that facilities master plan recommendation.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think that that's a really good idea that we collab with neighboring colleges and universities. I definitely can take initiative to research on some of the schools around us and what they've done, and whether or not they'd be willing to collab with us, if you guys would be okay with that.
Awesome, thank you. If anyone else, has any thoughts on Sophia's comments, feel free.
I really like the idea that you proposed, Sophia, and I think it would be a really good way to help make our community as a whole and do like actionable tasks to make it better. So if you ever need any help doing your research, let me know.
Thank you.
Thanks, Alexandra. Yeah, definitely. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Okay, one other thing. I was also looking at the time frame for a lot of the things. Say something like along the lines of data from the previous 3 years. Is there any way, or I don't know if this is already in the works or something, that PCC could possibly obtain data that's a little bit more recent? Or do you guys just like not want to do that? I was just wondering, just because I feel like more recent data would be a more accurate depiction.
Right. There is someone on campus who, and if you could correct me if I'm wrong, Carrie, I believe we could reach out to Crystal Carl-Ross, bring her into the discussion if she can help us, collect new data.
Crystal is the queen of data. But I have to apologize. I'm sorry, I missed some of the data that, what is the last data you have? What are you looking at?
It doesn't say a specific year. It just says previous 3 years, past 3 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Sorry.
No, you're fine. It says that for actually several of the items on the credit checklist.
Okay. When was the report published?
I don't know.
You're referring to the star section in the facilities master plan, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Well, that I wasn't that passed made in 2018.
Yeah, because what I'm trying to get at is the data is slow to collect, and the data is the data that you're looking at. What is that data exactly? But does it have to do with the attitudes or opinions of PCC students? Or is
Well, I was particularly looking at campus engagement. So yeah, so some of it is about like employees, student life, things in that sort of category.
So I'm going to take a wild guess and say if the report was published in 2018, if there's a cover sheet on it, you can look at the cover sheet. If it is 2018, that means the data has come from 2015 to current. We may only have one more year of current data. We might have 18, 19. But that may be the most current data we have, depending on how often we run those surveys. But we certainly, Emmanuel, what you can do is you can just type up this information, this question, and send it as a query to Crystal Koros, who handles our IPIO, and just say, I was wondering, is this the most up-to-date data we have for this section?
Okay. Awesome. Thank you, Carrie. Thank you, Sophia. I'll noting that down. Yeah, I would assume, it's very minimal data available too. It seems like it's just I guess the process of whoever drafted the company that drafted this plan, might just be one of those things that everything is a how to say this. It seems to be that it's just mandatory for them to put that in there, to include that. That's going to be my assumption based on, the lack of sustainable shared governance on campus in the recent years. But yeah, that's something that we could definitely tackle at. And I know that the sustainability committee, standing committee, is very enthusiastic when it comes to data and collecting new feedback from students, the way that they engage when it comes to sustainability. So I'll present that to them too. And I'll reach out to Crystal Cara, send her an email, and maybe even invite her and see if she can discuss the data that is available. Thank you. Anyone else have anything? Sorry, and can someone confirm what screen are you viewing? Are you still seeing the agenda only?
Yes.
Okay. So, so I think that we'll move on to if that is it for now. This will, still be a continued discussion. And for now, moving on to item B, which is discussion about the Sustainability Carbon Pledge draft. And it is recommended we participate in this discussion. I was speaking with Dr. Hatch and Dr. Anthony Francoso earlier about a thread of messages that have been included in wanting to get more student involvement, more student input with sustainability and what we want to see in our kitchens, you know, in our food services on campus. Now that this new opportunity has come, it's one of those, like Dr. Hatch mentioned, it's one of those pivotal moments that has been, it can be a pivotal moment with this opportunity to, you know, there's a vacancy that needs to be filled in. You know, we have a lot of time since and space available since there isn't any in-class instruction at the moment. And some of the discussions today, the key points today were being able to, you know, be mindful when looking for a new vendor, seeing that food waste is a big issue. It would be nice to get in contact with, I guess, chefs or companies, vendors who have the sustainable mindset already. You know, if we can eliminate having to worry about what materials are eco-friendly, what not, if the cook is already someone who is mindful when it comes to that, the company's values address sustainability, you know, it's kind of minimizing the work that we have to put into it, and being able to, you know, find food waste streams like composting, being able to also, I think you've mentioned this, Sophia, in the past about, you know, the wax paper and just materials that are biodegradable, but obviously they're not gonna compost in the trash can. You know, like these are also infrastructures that we would have to reach out to and include in this, because there's processes. You know, if you can recycle it rather than put it in a landfill, then that's the objective. That's the best objective, to speed the process, you know, and to be able to reuse it if it's still, I guess, good in condition. And also trying to find culturally relevant options. So like, what did the current students grow up eating? What are some dishes that remind them of home that would persuade them to, you know, invest into that uh, vendor, uh, rather than having to cross the street to one of the fast food options, one of the many fast food options we have nearby. And, you know, maybe adding a concept of like a weekly theme, but this would obviously have to, uh, this would require the participation of the chef involved and being able to partnership. Um, you know, the idea of trying to, you know, we have students who aspire to be in the culinary industry, and why not reach out to them and uh, ask the department or whoever's the director of this program to, you know, maybe chime in and give their input, be able to create some sort of internship or employment opportunity with the new vendor so that we continue to grow our community on campus. Um, and, you know, not necessarily invest in third parties, but keep it within the people who are on campus all the time. You know, there's hospitality programs as well, and, you know, being able to provide like a dining service whenever there's events. For, say, AS has, I don't know, a winter party, and if we have a group of students who aspire to work in the hospitality industry, like whether it's hotel services, their own restaurant at some point, you know, they get that experience and being able to, uh, in a sense, serve many different cultures, you know, our campus is in Pasadena, but we have many people commuting here, so we don't know necessarily what's there, what's sought out for, and I want to. I would like for us to be available also on June 12th to, since it is a confirmed date already with the Sustainability Committee, be able to go on there and give our feedback as to what we're looking for so that they can also, include us rather than just serve us. Yes, go ahead, Carrie.
Okay, so what I'd like to know from you, I've got a lot of comments, but I'd like to know from you,
Yeah.
is what do you want from this committee?
Sorry?
What do you want from this committee? Because you've been talking a lot about this, but you've got a committee. So what do you want from them other than to be available? And did you say June 12th was the meeting?
January 12th, sorry.
January 12th, because I was going to say at that point, it's too late. It's already been, the decision's already been made. So January 12th. So should folks be prepared? Is there data or information? Because I've seen some stuff come out of this committee. Is there anything that you want to give to folks so that they're adequately prepared to have a comment at the committee?
I this was just brought up to me this afternoon, so I will be including everyone in the conversation. Yeah, I just got off this meeting like at 1:30 or so, but I want to include us in the conversation. But for us, it's what I'm asking from this committee is. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Okay.
You know Kathy Kataris, right?
Yeah, she's part of the whole group too. Discussion.
Ask her for the information because they're soliciting advice right now.
Yeah, someone who reached out was the main person who reached out was Kathleen Dunn.
Okay.
And Kathy Kataris, she's also part of the Health and Safety Committee as well as the Sustainability Committee, and we're all very eager, but we just don't know where to put in our input, give our input, and I guess it's best that we all just collect it and come together and join them. So what I would like for you all, obviously, we have finals, but whenever you have a chance, we'll keep this discussion going though, prior to January 12th, being able to just research vendors that you're aware of, local vendors that you feel would be popular on our campus with students, and also give a bit more about those ideas you've provided me before when it comes to whether it's a vegetarian or vegan meal planning, whether it's the materials, the utensils that we use, being able to use reusable utensils. So researching specific items that you like. Yes.
Is this where is this on your agenda?
Sorry.
So is this coming out of your master plan? Or sustainability plans for December, winter 21, right?
Yeah, sorry. I think yeah, you definitely caught me. I am out of order. I guess I'm moving on to C early.
Yes. What I really want you to do, because I have a lot of comments, but you've been talking
Okay.
a lot, and I'd like to hear what your committee thinks about this.
Okay. So feel free to unmute yourself, y'all.
Okay, I think that's a really great idea that we should all research local vendors and just research more sustainable ideas that we could implement inside the CC building, the cafeteria. Yeah, but I definitely think that it needs a little bit more discussion so we're more prepared going into the meeting as a group and we have a united front and yeah.
Anyone else have any more thoughts about it? Food service?
I actually did have a question. I'm a first year at PCC, so I don't really know much about it, but where does the food from the Lancer Pantry come from, and where does the extra food go after?
Right. Okay. Well, most of it comes from the LA Food Bank, but there's partnerships with local grocery stores like Grocery Outlet. In the past, we've been connected with Trader Joe's, Aldi's. Also, um, we work on donations as well. So most of that was also part of the discussion, but um, I think that I don't want to give additional information. That's really all I know on where we're getting it from. I think that that's something I should do is reach out to. I've reached out to Marissa De La Torre, which is the person in charge at the Lancer Pantry. But also maybe reaching out to Dr. Kate Mani. Is that who is in charge of food services as well?
Yes. So the majority of the food from the food pantry we buy from the LA Regional Food Bank. We can buy at pennies on the pound. And we do occasionally request and are given donations of certain foods. Boy Scout troops, high schools will do fundraisers for us, and they'll bring in food, but mostly they like, and most food pantries will say this, they prefer to have the stability of being able to buy food that they need. Because when you get donated food, you never know what you're going to get. So to be able to have consistent food is something that they prefer, and it's easier for them to purchase as opposed to having to do a fund drive and then sort cans, because I've run a canned food drive for the pantry before, and people turn in crap. People turn in stuff that's expired. They turn in stuff that is in foreign languages that unless you can read that language, you know what it is, and we can't use it. So that comes from there. But kind of, Sean, I'm not sure the Lancer Pantry is the free food bank, and I think what Manuel is discussing is the food service that you have for the campus. So, anyone else have anything that can give you background? Okay, you can ask questions. Okay, let me give you guys let me give you folks, friends, some background, and then we can go from there. So I want you to understand that when you talk about food service, it's a business. The company is not going to come in here without the perception that they're going to be able to make some money. PCC is a hard space because when you look at what's on Colorado Boulevard, within 10 to 15 minutes, there's a lot of competition. Now, also though, when I talk about that competition, I also want to remind you that there are several mom and pop restaurants that are equally worthy of our support. Yeah, we've got McDonald's, yeah, we've got Jack in the Box and Chick-fil-A, but you've got a lot of small individual places, and that's also important for the diversity of our community as well. Remember that we do support some of those small restaurants. The problem we have had with food service, number one, I will fully admit, is the quality. The quality has been horrible, and it honestly depends on who's running the kitchen as to what it is. The cost per the product has been high. Now, I want you to understand the funding structure. We are unique in the state in the fact that we get a percentage of the profits from our food services. So when we look at food services and bookstore, they all agree to give the associated students a percentage of their profits for the right to serve our students, which is why we are very proprietary about who can serve food on our campus. Because you make at least, or you used to make at least $40,000 a year off of I-8. So that would come directly back to students. So that was an issue. No one else in the state that I know of has that sort of profit sharing deal. In the past, a lot of the folks who can do food service that we need are folks who are on an industrial scale. Sodexo is the food company, I think, for Hilton. And these other large corporations, they can come in because they can afford to buy and they have economies of scale. That's why our bookstore is now run by Follett, because they're a large company and their margin can be pennies, as opposed to when we ran the bookstore, we ran it independently. We had our own staff. It was owned by the associate students. So our margin had to be 10 cents, 15 cents. It had to be much larger. But when you work with Follett, who is in across the nation in bookstores everywhere, the margin could be pennies. So when you look at a food service that comes in, they have to make money. The reason we had I-8 is because we do RFPs, which is call for proposals. No one wants to touch us, you know, because they have to, they look at the space, they look at the student population, and they look at the food across the street, and they decide whether or not that works for them. So I understand you all have lofty goals, and I think we need to ask for those things, because as a public, if we don't ask for those services as a consumer, then those won't be provided. But I want you to be very strategic and understand where your bottom line is. Because when you look at community colleges up and down the state, not even up and down the state, if you go within a 50-mile radius, and you could do that, actually, that would be a good thing, is call community colleges within a 50-mile radius and ask them if they have food service and who it is. A lot of colleges do not have a food service because they are not profitable for these organizations to come in and set up. So that's the reality of where you are. I understand that you want healthy. I do too. And I understand that you want them to like embrace some sort of internship program. I get that too. I think maybe one of the best outcomes might be is that we look at our own hospitality program and we invest significant money in it to set up that kitchen to be a learning lab. That is part, Cal Poly Pomona does that. They have Kellogg West. It's a full 12-unit semester course that students take, and they learn how to run the front of the house. They learn how to cook, do prep. They learn how to do marketing and sales. They rotate through for a whole semester. That's the only class they take. And they're there basically 40 hours a week, almost. Or not maybe 40, like 24. So to achieve what you want, I would suggest that that's where you start looking, is how do we say that, you know, and this may be that we just say that we're going to take a loss, or that we somehow restructure our funding structure to cover some of that cost, right? So I want to say, I'm going to say this. I want to encourage you to ask all these questions. I want to encourage you to look at all the options, but I also want you not to walk in naively saying, this is what we want. I want you to understand that this is in some ways a business and it's a bottom line. Because that's the reality of sustainability, right? Things that fail because they're not based in reality. On the other hand, I'm going to say, if you all don't like the reality, change it. Ask, why can't we maybe have this sort of program? I want you to be smart. I want you to be savvy, and I want you to know where everything is in the playing field. Maybe that's something you can do, is you break up the colleges in different areas and you call and you ask them, do you have food service, right? And find out what's going on. Also, I want to make sure that you are taking this to the right committee. So, Emmanuel, you know who's in charge of, isn't Dean Cobb in charge of food service?
Yeah.
So have you spoken with her with what the timeline is?
I asked, said that we would have a meeting soon, but semester's over now. Haven't had one yet.
Keep emailing her.
Okay.
Keep emailing her. If you keep it at the top of her email list, then she'll get to it. Because that's the other thing. We don't know, they may already have this data there.
Mhm.
But I do know, I remember an LA Times article about 3 or 4 years back, just talking about how people like in the LA, out of the LA Trade Tech, they eat out of they don't have a cafeteria. They eat out of vending machines. or they eat out of a food truck, right? So those are the realities of where we are. Questions, thoughts?
What was the name of the company you mentioned? Hadex?
Sodexo?
Hadexo?
Sodexo, S-E-D. Let me look them up.
Yes.
I think they're part of the Hilton chain. But they are that huge, they're that huge conglomerate that you don't want.
Yeah, so this discussion was, well, me addressing the food service is all in an attempt to lower carbon footprint. And I mean, being able to, if you know, we really are being, well, those who drafted this are demanding that this gets approved. The goal is for them to present this to our campus's president, Erica Andrew-Jonas, and you know, this will be something that we can keep the campus accountable when it comes to sustainability and being able to reduce the footprint of carbon and carbon emissions, greenhouse gases. Being able to then have this signed, you know, it's, hey, well, someone signed this, you know, we are all part of this as well as everyone who, these faculty members, you know, they're on board with the student opinion. And since they don't seem to feel like they're being really heard much, it's us who will be able to push this forward more. You know, I think you all are pretty special simply by being interested in this committee. But you know, if we're not at the table, then it just seems like it's just controversy. So until we get there, they'll be able to act. It seems like. If you all have any, do y'all have any input on the lead rating system?
Sorry, Emmanuel, I asked Carrie a question about what she just said.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Carrie, did you say Cal Poly Pomona was a school that has a hospitality program?
Yeah, Cal Poly Pomona has a huge hospitality management program. And it's one of the powerhouses on the West Coast next to UNLV. And it really trains folks to enter the hospitality management in any forefront that they want, the business management side, the food, the culinary end. And it is part of what they call Kellogg West. And they have a whole kitchen up there. They have a food and beverage. I'm a graduate of Cal Poly. Well, I'm an alum of Cal Poly. I did the wines and spirits course, which I was a history major, but that was a course everyone wanted to take because you got to spend 10 weeks drinking wine in class. So that was a pretty fun class.
Nice.
I don't know how much I learned.
Thank you. And then Emmanuel, do you know what their time frame is on this? Like, when do they want to present it to? I forgot who you said it was, but when is that timeline?
It's just a continued discussion still.
Okay. There's no date. Okay, got it.
Yeah. So that's why I've been trying to emphasize on this, because it's still open. And before that is voted within the committee, you know, I think that it's a good opportunity for us to speak up.
Right. Okay, cool. Got it. Thank you.
I'm also going to challenge you all, because my question to you is, how do you know this is what students want? You represent voice. So maybe you need to kind of get a a handle on all what the options are and take it to the student. Because ultimately, you might get a lot of students who say, you ask them, what's more important to you, fresh, organic, or price? And for some folks, it might be that it's price, right?
Right.
So you need to make sure you speak for everybody, not just what you want.
Awesome. Thank you, Carrie.
Sorry. I just wanted input. Like maybe we could like to get to like know like the majority, what the majority I guess thinks about this. We could like put it right, create surveys and just like ask students to take it if like optional, so they can like give some feedback on like what they're willing to, like what they usually like their habits on eating and stuff, and yeah, get some feedback.
Excellent. Excellent idea.
Thank you, Anna.
And for when we're talking about food, I know like there's liability issues on like some like reusable like reusable like utensils, if they're like steel or stuff, but maybe we can like look towards like paper straws or paper like utensils or paper bags, like something that can be recycled.
Awesome. Thank you, Anna. Anna, would you be interested in volunteering to create a Google form, and you just draft up, some potential questions you have in mind that we could possibly, collect this data from students through a survey?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. Yeah, to
Thank you.
gather some data.
Okay. I'm noting that down. So I'll keep in contact with you, and we can further plan that. Thank you.
Hey, Anna, I'd love to help you with that, by the way, for any gathering statistics on the student population, all that. And Sophia, too.
Yeah,
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Thanks, Sean. Okay. So sorry about that. I lost a bit track of time. I'm gonna go ahead and move on then. We have 3 minutes left. You still have to get out of here immediately, Carrie? I think Sophia does, so.
I'm okay. You need to go over. As long as you have quorum, you can stay.
Okay. So discussion about winter 2021 sustainability plans. So it's just, and I'm sorry I was out of order. So I really just wanted to be able to make sure we stay in contact over the break. I'll be in here in the winter session. It's, I think it's best that, we meet and expand on the series of the Grow Box that I've been working on, which I wasn't able to get getting communication with a local company about asking for donations on their part. But is that something that would work with your schedules? I know some people are currently traveling because of the holidays, but please give me any input that you may have on, meeting during the winter, and what it is that you would like to tackle besides what we've discussed.
I'm going to be pretty free during winter. I have a class, but it's asynchronous, so there's no time that I'm going to not be available during that intersession, whatever. I do think that, yeah, what we just talked about is important to work on. I mentioned to you earlier that I'm going to ask my neighbor about the little thingies for the
Yeah.
boxes. So I'm going to do that this Sunday because that's his day off. And yeah, and then also the LED thing too, I want to discuss during winter as well. I think we should all look at that too.
Thank you. The lead rating system, right?
Yes, exactly.
Anyone else?
I'm also taking courses for the winter intersession, and I think I should be mostly free. They're not asynchronous, but they're not really course heavy.
Thank you, Allison.
Same with me. I have like free time.
Yeah. Okay. Well, since it already is 3, I guess we can just continue the discussion. At the moment, I think it's best that we don't meet next week, just so that you all can, including myself, we can all focus on our final week, and just focus on our own individual academics. So that is to be determined. We'll keep you all in the mix with that. And then, is there any, sorry about that. So I'm moving on. There is no public comment. Sorry, did you have any additional comments, Carrie?
No, just that like I said, it'd be better to have, as soon as you know what your classes are for spring and we can coordinate a date for spring, I'd appreciate that.
Thanks. Okay, so is there any announcements?
Oh, Holiday Angels.
Yeah.
If you possibly have the ability to support a child through Holiday Angels, let me copy the letter. I'm trying to figure out how to get this to you. I will forward this. I'm going to forward this to Emmanuel, and I'll ask him to forward it to you. Holiday Angels is a giving program for our students who are less fortunate on campus. They have kids, and most of them are on public aid. So they are struggling like everyone, like I know you all are struggling. But if you have a little bit of money, some of these kids aren't asking for much. They're asking for a doll, 20 bucks. You know, if you've got some extra funds, please consider. And if not, we would also be interested, and I'll send that note out because we're not sure how many people we need. Because of COVID, we have to deliver these gifts to the kids because we can't have them coming to our campus. So we're trying to find people who live in different areas who could come up and, like, if you live in Monrovia, here's 3 presents. Can you pick them up and then drop them off in Monrovia? So once we get all of the lists down, we'll put a list out. We'll say, hey, can we have people volunteer and we can sign up? And we're trying to keep it between 3 and 5 stops that you have to make. So I'm sending the wish list letter and the instructions to Emmanuel, and I'll have him, if you don't mind, Emmanuel, please send it out to folks. Yeah. And, if you look, we say the max is $35, but if you look, some of these kids want things that aren't that expensive. I know I can find a doll for 20 bucks, or I could find, Minecraft toys for, $15 to $20. So someone wants a Barbie, and Barbies are like 10 bucks. So if you can, I understand it's hard right now, but consider it, please.
Thank you, Carrie. Also, I wanted to, Carrie shared with me if you're interested in becoming a peer mentor through personal counseling services, they're offering an opportunity to become a peer mentor, but it will only be really available if you are planning to be on campus for the next 2 semesters. because there is a commitment required. And you know, it. I'm not sure. I believe there is some sort of. I may be confusing it. I'm not sure if there's some stipend or some sort of a credit to this.
Yeah, I had to email him because it wasn't on the thing on the flyer. But you have to go through training, which is unpaid. And then if you agree to stay on for 2 semesters, then you get paid to be a peer mentor. So it's a job on campus.
Yeah, thank you, Carrie. And I will send that over with the Holiday Angels event flyer too. And that is it for now. So future meetings and times to be determined. And I would like to make a motion to adjourn this meeting at 3:05 p.m. If I can get
Oh,
first.
first. Sorry, first.
Thank you, Sophia.
And
Thank you, Alexandra. And then if no one opposes this,
You're good.
then I think we're good to adjourn. Meeting adjourned. Thank you very much, y'all. I appreciate you all. Let me go ahead and stop this recording.